in continuation about the Alamat As-Sa'ah, the signs of Day of Judgment. Last time we talked specifically about the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that relate to masajid and the changes that will happen to the masajid, the places of worship for the Muslims. Today, inshallah, we'll start talking about what changes are expected to happen or have happened already in this ummah and on the political side, as detailed in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, because all these changes as well are from the signs of the Day of Judgment, and we're living these changes. Of course, the more we see and we hear about the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ talking about in all detail about things that are to happen in the future, and they happen in the future, that again I would like to stress that it should strengthen the iman and belief of the Muslims in their book and their prophet and their religion, and increase their abidance by this religion, and it will give them more convincing evidence to talk to non-Muslims about when they see what the Prophet ﷺ talked about almost 1500 years ago happening in front of their eyes in all detail, because the ghaib no one knows. This is a miracle that is undisputed. Nobody can argue about it. Ghaib, nobody even knows what's going to happen an hour from now. Even in your own personal life, you don't know what's going to happen an hour from now. Whoever is going to die an hour from now does not know at this moment that he is going to die an hour from now. Actually, who is going to die 5 minutes from now, at this moment he has no clue that he is going to die 5 minutes from now, right? I remember a story of a man, this is a true story, and they were making a birthday party for him, and he knew, and he was running up the stairs to catch his birthday party because they wanted to light the candles and everything. And as he was going up, he died on the stairs. You look at it, obviously this man had no idea that he was going to die as he was running up these stairs. Subhanallah. And we all know that the stories of death are completely unpredictable. You saw what happened to this famous singer who died, Michael Jackson, who died about 2 weeks ago. The guy was preparing for concerts in England that were supposed to happen just a month from that time, and this was supposed to be his comeback concert at age 50, and nobody ever imagined, on all this money and everything and all the preparation, having a doctor by his side all the time. Who has a doctor by his side all the time? And subhanallah, he's a heart doctor, and he dies of heart condition. Subhanallah. He brings the heart doctor by his side in his house. And not only that, I saw pictures that he used to go and get something called ozone treatment. It's some kind of concentrated oxygen treatments. He used to lay in a chamber and get these ozone treatments. And that some people think it slows the aging process. Subhanallah. How did this help slow his aging process? Did it prevent death from him? To get concentrated oxygen, you lay in a chamber. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He decreed that He cuts oxygen from his brain, He cut oxygen from his brain, regardless of how many oxygen treatments he's had before, right? Doesn't help. So Prophet ﷺ talks in all detail about these things that we see in front of our eyes. What more evidence does a Muslim want? Or what more evidence does a non-Muslim expect to believe that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is the messenger of Allah, and listen to him and take whatever he says seriously. Our problem is not in knowledge. Our problem is in applying the knowledge. There is a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. He says to the Sahaba, إِنَّكُمْ فِي زَمَانٍ قَلِيلٌ خُطَبَاؤُهُ كَثِيرٌ فُقَهَاؤُهُ قَلِيلٌ سُؤَالُهُ كَثِيرٌ مَقُوهُ الْعَمَلُ فِيهِ خَيْرٌ مِنَ الْعِلْمِ وإنه سيأتي زمان كثير خطباؤه قليل فقهاؤه كثير سؤاله قليل معطوه العلم فيه خير من العمل. He says that now you are living in a time where the people who talk are less to very little. Actually nobody used to talk except the Prophet ﷺ. They listened to him. But he says, كَثِيرٌ فُقَهَاءُ, like you have so many scholars amongst you who actually understand the religion and are convinced, have the conviction and iman. So they are true scholars. But he says, and also one of the characteristics of that time is that many people want to give and little people want to take. كثير معطوه قليل سؤاله. And then he said, العمل فيه خير من العلم. He says people are focusing more on applying and on actions and on conduct than just to gather knowledge. He says, but there will become a time where كثير خطابه. So many people are giving speeches. And as we talked before, writing and qalam and kitaba will be plenty. Books and speeches and internet and knowledge is everywhere. You just look, you find the hadith in Bukhari. They used to travel months to get a hadith in the past. Wallahi, you see that رحلة العلماء, when they used to travel to get one hadith, subhanallah, one time Imam Ahmad, he knew that there was a man in Yemen has a hadith he heard this man has a hadith that he doesn't have. So he wanted to go and ask him about his chain of narration, how he got the hadith, to make sure that it's an authentic hadith. So he says, okay, we'll go to Yemen and get this hadith. And he took one of his friends with him. And then he says, and on our way, it's time for Hajj. We'll make Hajj and then we'll go to Yemen and meet this man. So he went to Hajj and he's making tawaf. And his friend says to him, look, this man that we wanted to meet in Yemen is here. And he's giving the hadith, he's giving classes and giving the hadith. You know what Imam Ahmad said to him? He said to him, my intention was to travel for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to Yemen and get this hadith. Although this man is here, I will not meet him here. I will meet him when he goes back to Yemen. Subhanallah. This is how they used to put the effort for one hadith just to learn. And now we have everything in front of our eyes, but our application is so weak as if we don't know. كأنهم لا يعلمون. I will mention some ahadith. I've collected, alhamdulillah, 25 ahadith, authentic ahadith of the Prophet ﷺ that talk about the future and what's going to happen to this ummah on the political side. I will mention one hadith. I don't know if we will have time to mention more than one or two hadiths this khutbah. Hudayfa ibn Yaman reports that the Prophet ﷺ says, تكون فيكم النبوة ما شاء الله أن تكون ثم يرفعها الله تبارك وتعالى إذا شاء أن يرفعها ثم تكون خلافة على منهاج النبوة فتكون ما شاء الله أن تكون ثم يرفعها الله إذا شاء أن يرفعها ثم تكون ملكا عضوضا فيكون ما شاء الله أن يكون ثم يرفعه الله إذا شاء أن يرفعه ثم يكون ملكا جبريا فيكون فيكم ما شاء الله أن يكون ثم يرفعه الله إذا شاء أن يرفعه ثم تكون خلافة على منهاج النبوة ثم تكون خلافة على منهاج النبوة ثم سكت. This hadith tells us the stages this ummah will pass through as regards to the state of rulership, governments that will control this ummah. He says there will be nubuwwah, prophethood amongst you. Prophet ﷺ was a prophet and he was the leader as well, right? So he controlled the government at the time. He said there will be nubuwwah, prophethood amongst you for as long as Allah wills. And then Allah will lift this prophethood whenever He wills. And that was by the death of the Prophet ﷺ, of course. Then he says, ثُمَّ تَكُونُ فِيكُمْ خِلَافَةٌ مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ عَلَى مِنْهَاجِ النُّبُوَّةِ مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ أَنْ تَكُونُ. Then there will be khilafah, Amir al-Mu'mineen, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali. Khilafah على منهاج النبوة, according to the manhaj and the way that of the Prophet ﷺ. They are on the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and on the Quran and sunnah. They did not deviate. The Khulafa al-Rashideen, the four Khulafa, they went on the same manhaj. And then he says, ثُمَّ يَكُونُ مُلْكًا عَضُودًا, meaning that it will become by inheritance after that. People will take ownership of the government, become the ruler, and then he will not do it like the Sahaba did it, according to Shura, according to the people's opinion, and according to the best. It will not be any more like this. They used to choose the best. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq was the best after the Prophet ﷺ without any dispute, regardless of what other sects want to say about Abu Bakr and Umar, because he said the Khilafah was on minhaj al-Nubuwah. So ثم تكون خلافة على منهاج النبوة. We bear witness that Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman and Ali were all on the path of the Prophet ﷺ without deviation. Because this is the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. اقتدوا بالذين من بعد أبا بكر وعمر وإن يطيعوا أبا بكر وعمر يرشدوا. What else do we want? Follow the ones that are after me, Abu Bakr and Umar. He specifically said they will come after him. So that's another hadith, shows you what's going to happen. By name, Abu Bakr and Umar. And then he said, if we follow Abu Bakr and Umar, يرشدوا. فعليكم بسنتي وسنة الخلفاء الراشدين المهديين من بعد عضوا عليها بالنواجذ. Follow my sunnah and the sunnah of the khulafa al-rashidin, the guided khulafa. After me, عضوا عليها بالنواجذ. Hold on to it as much as you can. Even if you have to hold on to it with your teeth, hold on to it with your teeth. Subhanallah. Why is he telling all this? Because there will come people who will try to discredit the khulafa and discredit the sunnah altogether and discredit the sahaba altogether. As you know, these sects that do this are Rafidah, and they call themselves Shia. They're not Shia, they are Rafidah. They discredit the khulafa altogether and discredit the sunnah, discredit the sahaba, discredit the wives of the prophets. Of the Prophet ﷺ. What else do we have of the religion if they discredit all these people? Subhanallah, they even discredit the Prophet ﷺ himself and say that Ali ibn Abi Talib was more worthy of the Nubuwwah than the Prophet ﷺ. They even discredit the Quran and they say there's a Quran, other Quran than the Quran that we read. What else is left of Islam? How can you be a Muslim anymore if you discredit all these things? And this is what these people believe, and we have to be very aware of this. If they say otherwise because they're hiding. They have something called at-taqiyya, where they hide their original belief and they give you something just to get along with you. You have to know all this. And if you talk to people who lived amongst these Rafidah, they'll tell you things that even the kuffar will not do. Wallahi al-azim. These Rafidah, even the kuffar will not do what they do. And then he said, after this it will be by inheritance. And as I said before, the alamat al-sa'a do not indicate if this is right or wrong. This tells you just what's going to happen. But by inheritance, definitely it is wrong. It should be by credit, by righteousness, not by inheritance. But this is what happened in the ummah. Also he says it will be by inheritance. And then he says mulkan jabriyan. After this it will be even worse. Not only by inheritance, by force. So there will come a general, he will do like a revolution or a coup, take control of everything, and then whoever talks or speaks against him, he gets killed. There's another hadith that says, ثُمَّ تَكُونُ جَبْرِيَّةٌ يُسْتَحَدُّ فِيهَا الدَّمُ. He says, يُسْتَحَدُّ فِيهَا الدَّمُ. He says blood, people's lives and blood will become nothing in the eyes of these rulers. If you start saying anything against them, they will just put you in jail for as long as you can live, or they will just kill you. No problem with that. So this is all said by the Prophet ﷺ 1400 years ago, in all stages. And what more detail do we want? And what else do we want to take what the Prophet ﷺ says more seriously? What else? And then after this stage which we are actually living in right now. Now we're in a stage which is probably a mixture of mulkan adudan and mulkan jabriyan, where people inherit and at the same time by force. They try to give the rulership to their sons, and if you don't agree, the force will be used against you. And at the same time, there are some other people who just take control like the army generals will take control, and then he'll give it to another general after him, or another general will do another revolution and take the rulership after him, and whoever talks about this general and his army, he will تستحب فيها الدم. His blood will become expendable and without any price. And this is what we are living in these days. But subhanallah, there's a bishara, there's good news after this. It says, ثُمَّ تَكُونُ خِلَافَةٌ عَلَى مِنْهَاجِ النُّبُوَّةِ. After this, the stage immediately after this, another khilafah عَلَى مِنْهَاجِ النُّبُوَّةِ, according to the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So yes, like the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said about the-Mahdi, يعني يملأ الأرض عدلا كما ملئت جورا وظلما. The Mahdi, when he comes, this will be the start of the new khilafah. He will fill this earth with justice, just like it was filled with injustice. So this change to khilafah ala minhaj al-nubuwwah will not happen overnight. We shouldn't just wait for the Mahdi to come and things will change, because people have to change first. If people do not change, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not give us this goodness. And this khayr that we expect will not just happen if we are in the same state we are in right now. We have to work very hard. Every Muslim has to work very hard on himself, his family, whoever he can control, whatever he can change to get to this stage. Because according to what we are, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us goodness. يَعْلَمِ اللَّهُ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ خَيْرًا يُؤْتِكُمْ خَيْرًا. If Allah knows there's goodness in you, He will give you goodness. ليس بأمانيكم ولا أماني أهل الكتاب من يعمل سوءا يجزى به ولا يجد له من دون الله وليا ولا نصيرا. Another hadith عن أبي أمامة الباهلي رضي الله تعالى عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تنقضن عرى الإسلام عروة فكلما انتقضت عروة تشبث الناس بالتي تليها فأولها نقضا الحكم وآخرها الصلاة. He says the ties of this deen will be or the عرى الإسلام the pillars or something like this of this deen will be dissolved one after the other, meaning in the people's lives. People will not apply Islam like they used to at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. They will start letting go of things. People will keep on letting go of things. It says one stage after the other. Nothing changes. Like our stage right now is so different from the stage of the Sahaba. So different. This didn't happen overnight. It happened stage after stage. It says the first stage is the hukm, rulership, sharia, tahkim al-sharia. That the governance of the sharia will go away. This is the first thing to go. It says the last thing to go is as-salah. We are actually in this last stage where a lot of Muslims do not pray. Maybe if I say maybe at least 50% of Muslims do not care of their salah, that would not be wrong. But the first thing that went was al-hukm. People started letting go of ahkam al-sharia. They don't allow the sharia to govern their daily life. And the rulers let go of many parts of sharia. And now we are at the stage of istibdal sharia. We're at the stage where sharia doesn't even apply in most countries. There's no sharia. They apply whatever they want. And the sharia maybe in some ahwal shakhsiyya, maybe in marriage, in divorce, in inheritance, maybe there's some sharia there, and even that they're changing. Now they change, they say, for instance, in some countries, this is in sharia, but in some countries you're not allowed. In some countries you have to take a written permission from the first wife. This is not in sharia, subhanallah. And then this ahwal shakhsiyya is starting to change. Inheritance, you find changes in these things. The sharia is being changed altogether. But then salah, now we are at a stage where a lot of people don't even perform salah. I don't know if we have another time to make another hadith, to go over another hadith. I'll mention one hadith quickly and we'll end this khutbah. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: ليأتين عليكم أمراء يقربون شرار الناس ويؤخرون الصلاة عن مواقيتها فمن أدرك ذلك منكم فلا يكونن أذيفا ولا شرطيا ولا جاريا ولا خازيا. It says you will find some rulers will come after me. Their close friends and advisors will be the worst of you. They will get the worst of the worst to be their advisors. Subhanallah. As if they've filtered and screened all the population and chosen the worst of the worst. Even them themselves, Prophet ﷺ says, وَيَسُودُ قَبِيلَةَ فَاسِقُهَا. The worst of the worst will be the head. يَسُودُ قَبِيلَةَ فَاسِقَهَا. The worst and the most evil person will be the head. And he says, وَيُقَرِّبُونَ شِرَارَ النَّاسِ. And the advisors are also, the next level of evil will come the advisors, شِرَارَ النَّاسِ. He says, يُؤَخِّرُونَ الصَّلَاةَ عَنْ مَوَاقِيتِهَا. They delay the salah from its time. We've passed this stage. Some of them, most of them don't even pray. He said they delay the salah. For instance, he wouldn't do asr at the time of the adhan, he will do it later, just before Maghrib. Wallahi, if they do this, maybe they're in the better state that we are in right now. But a lot of them don't even pray. And he said, if you reach this stage, or if you live in that time, do not associate yourself in any way with these governments. He says, فَلَا يَكُونَنَّ أَذِيفًا وَلَا شُرْطِيًا وَلَا جَارِيًا. Don't be even a soldier. Don't even be a policeman. He says for them. Because why is that? Because like I mentioned before, they will use you to kill other people. They will tell you, now that you're a soldier or a policeman, now you go and kill these people over there. And if you say no, you yourself, you can get killed, or your family will be prosecuted, or you'll be put in jail. So just distance yourself from these kind of people who have these kind of qualities. He says, وَلَا جَارِيًا وَلَا خَازِيًا. Don't even be involved with the treasury, because it's all riba and haram and darai, taxes instead of zakat. So it's all haram and haram. How can you get away from all this? You can't, except by distancing yourself from these people.